While the Greek gods and goddesses like Zeus, Poseidon, and Aphrodite are the most well-known deities of ancient Greek mythology, there are many other fascinating gods and goddesses that are not as commonly known. Each of these lesser-known gods and goddesses has their own unique powers and mythology that makes them just as interesting and important as the more popular ones. In this video, we will explore 8 of these lesser-known deities and reveal their fascinating stories and backgrounds. By learning about these lesser-known gods and goddesses, we'll gain a deep understanding of the rich and complex mythology of ancient Greece and appreciate the diverse range of deities that were revered by the Greeks. The first goddess is Eris. Eris is one of the most infamous and unpredictable goddesses of the Greek pantheon. Her name literally means strife, and she was believed to take pleasure in causing chaos and stirring up conflict among the gods and mortals. Her presence was seen as a threat to the harmony of the world, and she was often depicted as a malicious and spiteful figure. According to Greek mythology, Eris was famously responsible for starting the Trojan War by throwing a golden apple inscribed with the words "to the fairest among the goddesses." The apple was intended to be a prize for the most beautiful goddess, and it caused an immediate uproar among the goddesses. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite all claimed the apple for themselves, and a dispute ensued. Zeus, unwilling to choose between the three, tasked Paris, a mortal prince, with selecting the winner. Each goddess tried to bribe Paris with promises of wealth, power, or love, but in the end, he chose Aphrodite, who had promised him the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen of Troy. This decision ultimately led to the Trojan War, as the Greeks fought to reclaim Helen from the Trojans. Despite her reputation for causing trouble, Eris did have a role to play in the Greek pantheon. She was believed to keep the other gods on their toes and prevent them from becoming complacent. In some versions of the myth, she is even said to have been responsible for the creation of the world, as her chaotic energy sparked the first sparks of creation. Regardless of her role, Eris remains a fascinating and complex figure in Greek mythology, embodying both the destructive and creative aspects of chaos. The next goddess was the highly respected goddess Hestia, known for her peaceful and nurturing nature. As the goddess of the hearth and home, she was responsible for overseeing the sacred fire that burned in the center of every household and temple. Hestia was believed to be present in every home and was honored as the protector of the family, ensuring that their hearth was always warm and their home was always welcoming. In addition to her role as the goddess of the hearth, Hestia was also one of the original 12 Olympian gods, making her one of the most ancient and revered of all the Greek deities. Despite her prominent position, Hestia was not known for her involvement in the political and military conflicts that often defined the lives of the other gods. Instead, she embodied the values of hospitality, domesticity, and community, and was seen as a symbol of stability and continuity in a world that was often unpredictable and chaotic. Hestia was also revered as a symbol of purity and chastity, and she was often invoked during important rites and ceremonies, particularly those related to marriage and childbirth. In some myths, she was said to have taken a vow of celibacy and refused to marry, instead dedicating her life to the service of her people. Her temple in Athens, the Prytaneia, served as a kind of public hearth, where the sacred fire was kept burning at all times, and where visitors could find food and shelter. Despite her low profile in popular culture today, Hestia was one of the most important and beloved goddesses of the Greek world. Her gentle and nurturing nature made her an inspiration to women and a model for the ideal home and family life. Even today, her legacy lives on in the tradition of keeping a warm and welcoming hearth in our own homes. Moving on, we have Pan. Pan was a unique and fascinating figure in the Greek pantheon, revered as the god of the wild, shepherds, and flocks. His appearance was almost as distinctive as his personality, with the head and upper body of a man and the horns, legs, and tail of a goat. This unique combination made him one of the most recognizable and beloved of all the Greek gods. Despite his wild appearance, Pan was known for his gentle and playful nature, and was particularly associated with music and the arts. He was believed to have invented the pan flute, a type of musical instrument made from reeds, which he would play in the woods to entertain his fellow gods and the animals that lived there. His music was said to be so beautiful that it could soothe even the most savage beasts and calm the wildest storms. Pan was also closely associated with shepherds and flocks, and was believed to watch over the welfare of these animals. He was often depicted as a protector of the countryside, roaming the hills and valleys with his flock of goats and using his pipes to guide lost travelers and herdsmen back to safety. His presence was seen as a symbol of the untamed and uncivilized world, which was both feared and revered by the Greeks. Despite his many positive attributes, Pan was also associated with the darker aspects of nature, including death and decay. In some myths, he was said to have a terrifying roar that could cause panic and hysteria, and was even thought to have caused spontaneous fits of madness in those who heard it. Despite this, Pan remained a beloved and important figure in the Greek pantheon, embodying the wild and unpredictable forces of nature that were both feared and revered by the ancient Greeks. Another lesser-known god is Hypnos, the Greek god of sleep, a figure both feared and revered in ancient Greek culture. He was known for his power to bring rest and relief to both humans and gods alike, with his gentle touch inducing peaceful slumber. Depicted as a winged figure, Hypnos was a gentle and peaceful god, who was seen as a necessary part of the natural order of the world. Hypnos was believed to reside in a cave, which was filled with poppies, flowers that were thought to have a sleep-inducing effect. According to myth, Hypnos would spend his days in this cave, surrounded by the poppies, and would emerge only at night to do his work. His touch was said to be light and gentle, with those who felt it falling into a deep and peaceful sleep almost immediately. Despite his gentle nature, Hypnos was not always seen as a benevolent force. In some myths, he was said to be easily angered, particularly when his sleep was disturbed. Those who dared to wake him from his own slumber risked his wrath, and were said to be punished with sleeplessness or nightmares. Hypnos was also sometimes seen as a symbol of death, particularly in the form of the eternal sleep that comes at the end of a long and fulfilling life. Despite these darker aspects, Hypnos remained an important and beloved figure in Greek mythology. His power to bring rest and renewal to the weary made him a popular figure among the people, and his gentle touch was seen as a gift from the gods. Even today, the image of Hypnos and his cave of poppies remains a powerful symbol of the restorative power of sleep, and a reminder of the importance of rest and relaxation in our busy lives. Next up is Eileithyia. Eileithyia was one of the most important goddesses in ancient Greek mythology, revered as the patron of childbirth and midwifery. She was believed to have the power to ease the pain of childbirth and bring new life into the world, making her a beloved figure among women in particular. Her name, which means she who comes to aid, was a testament to her power and importance in Greek culture. According to myth, Eileithyia was the daughter of Zeus and Hera, and was often called upon to assist with difficult deliveries. Women in labor would pray to her for help, and she was believed to be present at every birth, watching over the mother and child, and ensuring a safe and healthy delivery. Her touch was said to be gentle and comforting, and her presence in the birthing room was seen as a sign of good luck and blessings. Eileithyia was also associated with the seasons and the cycles of life, with her power extending beyond childbirth to encompass all forms of new beginnings and fresh starts. She was often depicted as a young woman, with a gentle and nurturing presence that inspired confidence and trust. Her image was often used in art and literature to symbolize the beauty and power of new life, and to celebrate the joys and challenges of motherhood. Despite her importance, Eileithyia was not without her darker aspects. In some myths, she was said to be stubborn and willful, and could be difficult to appease. Those who failed to honor her properly risked her wrath, which was said to be swift and terrible. Despite this, Eileithyia remained a beloved and important figure in Greek mythology, embodying the power and beauty of new life. and serving as a symbol of hope and renewal for generations of women. Our next god was one of the most important deities in ancient Greek mythology, revered as the god of the sun and the bringer of light and warmth to the world. We have Helios. Helios was often depicted as a radiant and handsome figure, with a golden aura that surrounded him and made him one of the most striking and impressive gods in the pantheon. According to myth, Helios was responsible for driving the chariot of the sun across the sky each day, starting in the east and traveling westward until it sank below the horizon in the west. His powerful rays provided the heat and light necessary for agriculture, ensuring the survival of life on Earth. As such, he was highly respected by the Greeks, who recognized the importance of his role in the natural order of the world. Despite his power, Helios was not without his flaws. In some myths, he was said to be a jealous and vengeful god, quick to anger and prone to taking revenge on those who crossed him. His fiery nature made him a force to be reckoned with, and those who dared to defy him risked his wrath. Despite these darker aspects, Helios remained an important and beloved figure in Greek mythology. His power and radiance inspired awe and wonder in all who beheld him, and his role as the bringer of light and life made him a symbol of hope and renewal. Even today, the image of Helios driving his chariot across the sky remains one of the most iconic and powerful symbols of the power of the sun and its importance in sustaining life on Earth. Our penultimate goddess is Nemesis, a goddess who commanded respect in ancient Greek mythology, revered as the deity of divine retribution and vengeance. She was responsible for ensuring that mortals received their due punishment for wrongdoing, and was often depicted as a winged figure carrying a sword and a set of scales, symbolizing the balance of justice and the measure of punishment. According to myth, Nemesis was the daughter of the goddess Nyx, the personification of night, and was often associated with divine justice and the natural order of the world. She was known for her ability to mete out punishment to those who had committed crimes, ensuring that justice was done and that wrongdoers were held accountable for their actions. Nemesis was often portrayed as a relentless and uncompromising figure, one who would stop at nothing to ensure that justice was served. Her scales were a symbol of the careful weighing of actions, and her sword represented the swift and decisive nature of divine retribution. Despite her fearsome reputation, Nemesis was not without her softer side. In some myths, she was seen as a protector of the innocent and a defender of the oppressed, using her power to bring justice to those who had been wronged. Her role as the guardian of the natural order of the world made her a respected and beloved figure in Greek culture, embodying the ideals of justice and fairness that were so important to the Greeks. Today, the image of Nemesis remains a powerful symbol of justice and retribution, reminding us of the importance of holding wrongdoers accountable and upholding the principles of justice and fairness in all aspects of life. And, finally, we have Nike, one of the most revered goddesses in ancient Greek mythology, representing the concept of victory in all its forms. Her name comes from the Greek word Nike, which means victory, and she was seen as a powerful symbol of triumph and success. Nike was often depicted as a winged figure carrying a laurel wreath, which she would bestow upon those who had achieved victory in battle or other competitions. In Greek culture, victory was highly valued and celebrated, and Nike was seen as the embodiment of this ideal. She was believed to have the power to inspire courage and determination in those who sought victory, and was often invoked by athletes and warriors alike. Her presence was seen as a sign of good fortune and success, and her image could often be found on clothing, armor, and other symbols of victory. Nike was not just a symbol of physical victory. However, she was also seen as a spiritual force that could help individuals overcome their own personal obstacles and achieve success in all areas of life. Her role as the goddess of victory made her a beloved figure in Greek culture, embodying the ideals of perseverance, determination, and hard work that were so important to the Greeks. Today, Nike remains an important symbol of victory and success, and her image can be found in many modern contexts, from sports teams to corporate logos. Her legacy continues to inspire individuals to pursue their own goals and strive for greatness in all aspects of life, embodying the timeless values of courage, determination, and triumph. Each of these lesser-known Greek gods and goddesses may have been overshadowed by more popular and well-known figures, but their stories and attributes are no less fascinating. By introducing these deities to modern audiences, we can gain a deeper appreciation of the richness and complexity of ancient Greek mythology, and the diverse range of gods and goddesses that were revered by the Greeks. Though their stories may be from a bygone era, the lessons that can be learned from these figures still have relevance today. For instance, the importance of maintaining peaceful and harmonious households, as exemplified by Hestia, is still as relevant in modern times as it was in ancient Greece. The power of perseverance and determination, as represented by Nike, can inspire people to overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. Furthermore, the retributive power of Nemesis can remind us of the importance of taking responsibility for our actions and the consequences that come with them. The tranquilizing power of Hypnos can encourage us to take the time to rest and recharge our bodies and minds, recognizing the importance of self-care and self-reflection. Overall, these lesser-known Greek gods and goddesses continue to be a source of inspiration and fascination today. Their stories and attributes have stood the test of time and continue to capture the imagination of people around the world.